What up, everybody? It's your boy, Cardinal Red, and we are back for another one. Alright, y'all, so today we talking Mike Tyson's strategy for Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury, third time. Hey, yo, come here. Man, come here. I want to talk to you about something. Man, come here, quit playing. This is serious. Alright, so Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury. Do skinny guys punch harder? Ectomorph boxing. Alright, y'all, so look at me. I'm like you. You clicked on this video because you want to hear about how to fight like a skinny guy. Alright, so do skinny guys punch harder? You got two very big guys in this fight, but you got a typical body type in Tyson Fury, in the bigger, heavier, stronger, you would think, guy. Then you got a slimmer body type in Deontay Wilder. Very ectomorph, very slim, very trim, almost similar to myself. Just taller, a lot taller. But who punches harder out of these two guys? And when you think about punching power in boxing and being the skinnier guy in a fight, there's two things that you have to remember. There's speed, and then there's body mass. You know, and how do you move that body mass with speed? So the way you create power is mass and speed and quickness. So the faster you can get that mass to its destination, the harder the punch is going to be. And that's sometimes where boxing stance comes in, because boxing stance gives better balance. It helps you cover the distance really quickly, and it just puts you in the right position to throw a punch. Now, when it comes to skinny guys versus big guys, how does the power actually translate? Because Deontay Wilder, I think, is just over 200 pounds, and Tyson Fury might naturally be closer to the 250, almost 300 pound range, when he's just walking around. So how can a person say Deontay Wilder punches harder than Tyson Fury when Tyson Fury clearly has more mass than Deontay Wilder? Well, put it this way. If you have a 200 pound car that is moving 95 miles an hour, the impact from that car is going to be greater than a car that weighs 300 pounds, but it's moving 20 miles an hour. It's just going to be, you would think like, hey, this is a bigger car, even 20 miles, but no, it's the reverse. If I'm moving at you at 135 pounds really quickly, I probably can make a bigger impact than you just throwing a punch at me and barely making contact, even though you're 200 pounds. I would probably knock you out versus you knocking me out. So the answer to the question is, it depends. It depends on positioning. It depends on how quick you can move that body mass and how much power you can naturally generate through fast twitch muscle fibers, through torquing your body. All these things matter. So who would win that fight based on who can punch harder, the bigger guy or the skinnier guy? I think Deontay Wilder, if he has the right strategy, can win that fight. You would think the naturally bigger guy would just be able to lean on the smaller guy, gas him out, tire him out, and beat him up in the later rounds ultimately. But if Deontay Wilder can use his speed and his mass to make great impacts during the first 5 to 6 rounds in that fight, and then use his ring IQ, move around the ring, he can definitely beat Tyson Fury very easily, and I think knock him out and reclaim his name as the biggest puncher in boxing, because skinny guys do punch hard. I use a speed bag, the normal way, a lot of times, the way you're supposed to use it. But I like to use the speed bag also for distance, for measuring my distance, and for timing. So if I want to throw a combination at a certain distance and at a certain time, then I'll put together my combination. Let's say I want to throw a 1-2 and then throw the left cross right behind it. So I'm gonna use the speed bag like this: 1, 2, and then throw that left cross. So it'll be 1, 2, and go straight through it. So it'll be 1, 2, go straight through it. So I use the speed bag a little differently than other people use it, but it helps me because I can move around. I can do the same thing with the reflex bag that's behind the camera, but I can really do it with the speed bag. I really like the speed bag because it's almost like a double M bag with the way I use it. So you can just flick it out there and throw combinations. And I've been teaching myself to throw this double combination using the speed bag, which is really hard to do. It's a double punch. It's a double, you send one, and you send one right behind it. You send one, and you send one right behind it. So it's kind of hard to do, and it's kind of hard to replicate without having a speed bag. But I think that those are innovative ways of using different tools that you have within the sport of boxing to better your skills and further your punching power. I'm a skinny guy, I'm an ectomorph, but I try to use what I have to my advantage. So if I'm the naturally quicker guy in a fight, I want to try to end the fight really quickly. So I want to use my speed and my power. This is the reason why I'm working on this double punch is you can really end the guy with that. If you land that, the fight's going to be pretty much over. And it come right behind. I already broke your nose with the first one, but the second one's going to put you straight to sleep. So it just is what it is. Whose punch is harder? I think skinny guys punch harder because of the combination of speed and power. If you can balance your weight correctly, I know a lot of ectomorphs say that they can't gain weight. Well, personally, I don't believe ectomorphs should be gaining weight. I don't think you should alter your body type for mass. Unless you're playing a sport like football or doing a sport like Gromo Greek wrestling, you shouldn't be altering your mass. Like you're doing something like strength, you're trying to be a bodybuilder, then you have to increase your mass. But if you're doing endurance sports, you're doing boxing, you're doing basketball, you're playing soccer, you're doing baseball, these are not sports that you need a lot of bulk to play. I know a lot of people make the mistake of trying to bulk their body up and then later on in life they pay for it. If you knew my age and see how I look, you would be like, man, there's no way you should be looking like that. And actually, at first, I didn't like it. I used to try to gain weight like everybody else. But once I realized that my body is shaped this way, it's up to me just to maintain what I naturally have. If I want to build my physique up, I can get shredded and look like a professional boxer. I've done it before, and it wasn't hard. Or I can bulk myself up, 5 or 10 pounds extra if I want to. But I try to stay within a 5 to 10 pound range, because once you get out of that range, it can get out of control really quickly. And if your parents were naturally bigger people, which mines are, my mother was naturally bigger and my father was naturally bigger, so most of my brothers and sisters are much bigger than I am as far as size, but I'm pretty much the tallest. But it can get out of control really fast once you start getting up there in age. So me personally, I didn't like it when I was younger. As I got older, I started realizing that I have a natural advantage. I love to play basketball, so when I got on the basketball court, I was naturally faster than everybody. My hands move quicker than everybody's. My feet move quicker, because I'm playing against guys who are bigger and bulkier than I am, which makes them naturally slower. And I used to do things, like I said, to try to bulk myself up, following one of my brothers who's really, really big. Like taking protein powders and doing all this stuff, and it didn't work for me. It made me feel sick. It made me slower, and I didn't like it. So being my natural weight, maintaining my natural weight has worked for me to have speed and power at 135 pounds, 140 pounds, depending on what I'm eating that week. Plus, one more thing. As an ectomorph, and for anybody out there who's just trying to maintain a body type, you don't need to eat 3, 4, 5 times a day. I eat 1 time a day. I have 1 meal every day. That's it. And I usually do it at around the same time, later in the evening. And what I found is I've been able to maintain an energy level, and I've been able to maintain my weight consistently for the past 5 to 6 years. I've been around the same exact weight. No matter what I eat, how much of it I eat, I'm always the same exact weight. Now, I'm very active. I'm outside a lot. I work outside. I do boxing. But those are not the only factors that go into why I can stay looking like this at this age. Now, believe me, in a few weeks, if I stick to this, I'll be even more shredded like I was 2 years ago. And if I can find the pictures, I inserted her somewhere. But who punches harder? Skinny guys versus big guys. Who has more punching power? I'm riding with Team Ectomorph. Let me know what y'all think down in the comment section. Now back to your regularly scheduled programming. Get out of here! Alright, y'all, so shouts out to the legend, you know, Iron Mike, what he had to say about Fury Wilder 3. Me personally, I feel like this. I think Deontay Wilder needs a strategy, which is to work everything off of the jab and use the ring and your ring IQ. You know, I think Deontay Wilder actually won the first fight. I think his strategy in the first fight was basically outmuscle and knock out Tyson Fury. And I think he actually achieved that. I think he got a long count. And I think he achieved his goal in that fight to show that he had the power to knock Tyson Fury out. I think that was his main goal, and he accomplished that goal. The problem is it didn't work in the second fight. You know, Fury used his ring IQ, he used boxing, he used his size, his advantage. He leaned on Wilder, he tired him out, he used the size as an advantage, and he beat in the later round. Now you have the third fight. So what strategy does Deontay Wilder come with be victor in the third fight? Now he can't come with that same strategy he used in the first and the second fight because Tyson Fury has learned how to defend against it. He has to come up with a new strategy, and I think that strategy has to be extremely similar to what Lennox Lewis used to use. Do not try to engage a strength competition with Tyson Fury, because I think what's going to happen is Deontay Wilder is going to get tired later in the fight, and Tyson Fury is going to take advantage of that. I have to disagree. Although I love Mike Tyson, I have to totally disagree with his strategy of just trying to go all out, because if he goes all out and gasses himself out by the 7th round, and then what? Let me know what y'all think down in the comments section. It's your boy Cardinal Red. This is Red Room Sports, Ali Land Boxing Talk. I am Cardinal Red. I appreciate y'all for supporting the community, even though we're not talking about Pacquiao, starting new stuff. We're talking about a lot of new stuff, man. Trying to figure out this camera and this focus. It has a mind of its own, but hey, it's on me to, you know, figure it out. It's your boy Cardinal Red, man, for now, and we are out of here.